everybody. It's 1 o'clock and time for me to start nattering to you. You seem to like nattering, so I will just carry on and do that. Most of you know, those of you who watch anyway, that daily at Weekday at 1 o'clock I do this live broadcast from my studio. Hi Vicky. To keep myself entertained, to give myself some schedule, but also to keep in touch with you lovelies, and to sometimes provide you with some inspiration, hopefully a smile, and some distraction from the current doom and gloom that's out there in the big bad world. And we will get through it all and move on, and it will all be fine. So each day I'm trying to do something different. I have talked about my sewing machines. I have talked through sketchbooks. I have talked to you around an exhibition of mine. And I spoke to my mum last night, and mum said that she'd seen one of these little broadcasts. I said, Mum, there's been about 10 or 12. And she just laughed. She thought the whole thing was hysterical. She thought I was hysterical. She is generally embarrassed by me, I think. So, Mum, should you be watching on the slide today, got you numbered, watching you. Yeah, she's always embarrassed by me. I don't care. I can only do what I do. Thank you, Jane. I do try. Whether I'm laughing at myself or what, I'm trying in one way or another. What Mum did suggest that I did today was talk a little bit about colour. Thank you, Shona. I think she does love me as well, but she just likes to laugh at me too. Sue, I'm glad you're enjoying the sketchbook workshop. That's great. There's loads of you enjoying the developing sketchbook workshop. Fabulous. So Mum suggested that I talked a bit about colour. Yeah, Claire. Mums and daughters. Yeah, embarrassing. My daughter thinks I'm an embarrassment as well. I'm obviously embarrassment to all of my family. Anyway, Mum said something on colour today, so that is what I thought I would do. And I don't feel as if I've engaged with drawing very much myself over the last couple of weeks. I thought I was going to have loads of time, and then all of a sudden projects and admin have kind of filled my days. So my day so far has been spent doing a couple of hours of Italian lesson and then loads of admin. If you look on the virtual quilt page on my website and scroll down to the bottom, you will see the quilt in the making. It's getting there. I can't remember how many submissions we've had, but I've put what we've had so far, most of them. There might be a few stragglers that I haven't quite caught. Most of them are there, and you can see how they fit together as a quilt already. It works. I love it when a plan comes together. So please have a look. Please keep sharing all that virtual quilt malarkey. That would be great. Drawing. So with quilt stuff, with workshop admin, with general admin of other stuff, I've kind of got sidetracked from I thought I was going to just be able to indulge in the studio for the next few months. How wrong was I? So drawing for the next 15 minutes. I'm just looking to find a clean page in a sketchbook. For my own indulgence, possibly yours, I will try and answer your questions as we go. Rolling eyes. Yeah, I get a lot of rolling eyes. From elder members of the family and younger members of the family. I'm going to have to find a different sketchbook. The first two I've picked up are full. I don't have any order to my sketchbooks. I just pick up one that's got a spare page and find the first clean page and go with it. So, found one. Mostly what's in this sketchbook, this one, let me turn it this way and you can just flick through. I don't think I've talked about this one. This one has got notes in, it's got some drawings in, coloured drawings, and bits and pieces from, can you see that, from my time in Australia last year. And I used this book as my kind of demo book. So there's different exercises and examples of different types of drawing in here. Can you see? You can just see, look. I'm just flicking through quickly. So, I'm going to find a clear page and I'm going to swizz the camera around so that you can see. I lost my clear page now. There we go. So when I turn the camera around, I won't be able to see your comments. So, oh, I hate the phrase bear with, but you will have to bear with. Let's just see. Actually, if I just turn it, I'm going to turn it down the way. There you go. And you can see, can you see what I'm drawing? It'll be upside down for you, but that's c'est la vie. I have got here, these are my preferred choice. These are Caran d'Ache. In fact, if I put those there, you can see them, I think. Can you? I'm going to put that there. No, put that there, those there, and then you can see this at the top of the screen. I have got on my laptop next to the camera, I've got an image. In fact, let me try and put that. It's going to be upside down for you, I think. Can you see it? There you go. Look, that is Fabriano, an upside down version of Fabriano in Italy. Fabriano as in the paper Fabriano. And I went there with one of my besties last year during the summer. I was visiting Marche, and it's the region further north of us in Italy, and I had just finished a lot of teaching for the summer school, and so I went up for a bit of a holiday and had a bit of a break, although I did take my sewing machine and all my threads in the back of the van. And I kind of had a creative holiday where I swam and ate well and slept well and did some sewing. It was lush. So I am plotting in, kind of squinting at my photo and plotting in some of the key colours and key shapes to start off with. And where I can see shadow or, well, I'm kind of squinting to get the rough idea of the colours first off. And I can only go for rough idea of the colours. I don't always want it to be exactly what I see, because these kind of crayons will make their own colour almost. They will tell me what I can do. And I'm not going to guarantee that I will use this image. Can you see it okay? I'm going to look up so I can see what you're asking. Right, you're watching. So you can see. This is good. Even though it's upside down, and I do apologise. Right. I'll just keep on drawing. If you're there at the end of it, you're there. And if you're not, you're not. I can see something a bit more yellowy. Because I'm squinting, I'm kind of saying, is that bit more yellow than the other bit? Is that bit paler than the other bit? Is this bit down here shadowy and darker? There's a shadow that comes here. And this shadow is quite important because it's the shadow from this building. And some of this colour in here as well, where it's kind of almost a little bit mouldy, to be honest. A line comes up here. What I'm also doing might be useful for you to note is I'm looking at this photograph that's on my computer over here, and I'm using the edges of the border of the photograph to compare with the edges of the border of my page. So I can see that the roof of the building comes off at that point on the photograph. So it will come off at that point on my page, and that helps me to get the composition right. And if I'm not quite right on something first time round, then I don't rub it out. I just go over it a bit heavier with the next line. I very, very rarely rub anything out. And it might be that when I'm done, you'll kind of think, looks a bit rough. What I'm drawing though is something that is useful to me in terms of my stitch and the way that I could potentially mix colour with threads. I'm not trying to make another photographic representation of this street scene of Fabriano. My camera's done it better than I will draw it. I can enjoy representing it though, and the kind of enjoyment that I have in that representation can come through in my colour choices. And see, I really like the way that those two mix together. This kind of peachy colour in the green. It's not exactly how it is in the original photograph, but I enjoy it, and it kind of sings for me, so I might well keep it because it sings. There's a little cinquecento, a white cinquecento underneath that tree. That's it. Sometimes I might put in a piece of graphite, so it might just require a bit of graphite down there. I don't like using black very much, and so to help kind of define areas and refine areas, it can be useful to use some graphite instead because it's not as harsh. And I've talked to you before about the fact that I like these directional movements. I'm going to squint at the picture in order to almost exaggerate some of the colours and get some extra colour out of the scene. That's kind of bluey green up there. That's a bit too blue. I'm going to go a bit greener and then a bit paler up in that window area. Yeah. And then demarcate it a bit. We've got some windows over here I haven't dealt with. Windows are a strange thing. They're kind of quite illustrative. They're really telling you it's a definite building. They're almost suggesting what's going on in that building as well, and it's something that I haven't really utilised that much in my work up until the last kind of 18 months or so. I've kind of avoided that level of detail. Now the building on this side is pretty pale, but it's got an underlying tint of brown. So I'm going to put that in first, and then I'm going to blend it using white. I get through the white maybe more than any other of these Caran d'Ache. These are Caran d'Ache Neo colours. And I get through the white most of all. Now, I appreciate that my aesthetic here with the drawing is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I don't need it to be. I need it to make me happy, and then that, I believe, comes through in the resulting stitch pieces that I make from this. Right, there's a yellow line that is literally a yellow line on the road, and I'm going to enjoy putting that in. It's a bit yellowy over here. There's some extra pale on this wall. Sometimes I can't tell exactly what's going on in a picture. Like visually I can't tell because the detail isn't there, and if I can't properly see the detail, then I can't draw it. I'm not going to make up what I think is there, so that means it is quite blurry, and I don't mind that. There's warmth there, and it's the warmth that I really want. Kind of craving it a little bit. It's a very cold day today in Yorkshire. I want this area a bit steelier, maybe even a little bit more blue. And it's a shop front, a roller door on a shop front, and the lines on the roller door actually they're pretty good for sending lines of perspective in the right direction, and that helps the eye to be taken into the composition. So everything is actually funneling down to this doorway that's way down the back, down here. So as I said, this is Fabriano, where the paper comes from, and I had a lovely day there. Went round the paper museum. If you get to that region in Le Marche, I think it's open most days, probably not a Monday. A lot of places aren't open Mondays. They will, when Italy opens back up again, they will really appreciate your visit and your time. But it's fascinating, a fascinating place with lots of the original paper making machinery, and you can go on a tour, a short tour, and they talk you through how the watermarks were done. Obviously it's in Italian, but you'll get the gist. It's kind of illustrated, and actually I suspect some of them speak pretty good English and they'll want to practice, or pick up a bit of Italian yourself. You know, that could be an option. I had an Italian grammar lesson this morning on Skype because we can't get into our local lessons, and it works really well actually. So I want this area to be a bit warmer, and there's a red sign down here. I'm just going to give it a little red dot somewhere to know that that's there. And this area is just generally warmer. I've made it too cool. So let's try and pick that up a bit more. I hope you can see this and follow it. I haven't got a clue what's going on the screen at the minute, so I'm kind of working blind. If you're there, you're there. Haven't really worked like this on the broadcast thing so far. We'll see how it works for you. Works for me. I'm quite enjoying myself. Kind of feel that really could have gone with going bigger on this. I'm going to knock that back a bit there. So a lot of areas have had far more than 1 or 2 layers. I kind of mix lots of colours together as I go along. Sometimes I just happen to have a particular colour in my hand and I get a little bit of it here, a little bit of it there, a little bit of it there. And it brings the whole composition together, because a similar colour gets dotted around in different places, and it brings a little bit of harmony. If you see, say for instance, if you see this bit of yellow over here and you see it over here as well, your eye kind of pulls these together. It's quite useful. So there's a little bit of everything in everything else, if that makes sense. Do you know what, I'm gonna kind of leave it there, because it's got this warmth of the building on this side, and it's got the movement down into that little corridor area there. Got a little Cinquecento here that I don't really want to draw in. I want to suggest it rather than really draw it. It is about suggestion for me. And it's also about what the colours can do without me overly overly forcing myself on them. I kind of want them to play a big role, and some of you who've been on a class with me will have heard me talk about how I feel I'm a conductor of the materials, and I'm trying to get the best out of them rather than being a dictator of the materials. This is one of my favourite colours. I have a thread that's ideal for this, but it's not with me, it's in Italy. Okay, for now I'm gonna leave it there. I wonder if there's something in there though. Can you see how I can't stop playing? Okay, I will leave it there, although there is a little bit of blue that I just want to get in. There's just a little snip of blue over here. Can't really see it very easily, and there is a darker blue thing going on here as well. It's kind of running off the page. We'll just get that in. Okay, far too illustrative. So here we go. Hi everybody, goodness, you're still all there. Let me show you where it is, right way up. Okay, can you see that? I'm just going to try and bring my computer around so that you can see both together. Okay, they're not exactly the same. They're not meant to be. One is interpreting the other. The colours aren't exactly as they are in the computer photograph, but this one is going to be much more useful to me when I come to do any stitch work from it, should I choose to. And what I've been able to do by looking very quickly in that brief amount of time, thank you Susie, in that brief amount of time I've been able to kind of extract the key essence of the colours from the original source. I would much rather do this not from a photograph, but from real life. I would rather be sitting in the streets of some beautiful, warm Italian village than being in my studio. I'd much rather be doing it from life, and because the sun would be constantly changing, the light would be constantly changing, I'd have to work really quickly to catch the scene, particularly if you go kind of at dusk, you're losing the light and you have to be really rapid, otherwise you can't see the colours well. It's a really nice time of the day to work. But when I can't be in that environment, then using photographs is my next best option. I don't like to work from memory That's my choice. That's just me. I like to work from a real thing. Ideally, first choice is that first-hand stuff, being in a place, seeing it for real, responding directly. The second option would be using my photographs, and they would have to be my photographs. It's no good using somebody else's photographs to work from. It's no good using magazines or something like that to work from, or images on the internet. They're not mine. I wasn't the one behind the camera or looking through the viewfinder to decide on the composition of that particular image and that particular layout. It has to be me that decides on the angle of the streets, the angle of the camera. It's desperately important, and that's what makes any piece of work unique. If somebody else takes that original photo, it's not really your image. You know, if you've produced work from somebody else's image. So first hand is best. Photograph, second best. My own photograph is second best. And so this is the type of thing that I can do in the studio, and then I can take that into stitch should I choose. Not all of my drawings I take into stitch. Some of them just don't speak to me. Some of them I close the book on and we never see them again. It depends. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I put them away and then look at them maybe a year later, and actually things are working for me. But there we go. That's my vision of Fabriano in Marche in Italy for you on a cool kind of wintry day in Yorkshire. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something from it. Please leave me your comments. Please share. Please come back and watch me again tomorrow. As I say, don't know what I'm going to be doing. Don't know what I'm going to be talking about. Just have to wait and see when I get there. Please have a look at the virtual log cabin quilt on my website. At the top of my Facebook timeline, you will find the link to go and have a look at that and get involved and share it, please. And have a look at my online workshops while you're there, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being with me on a daily basis. It is very inspiring for me, and Eva, thank you for your kind words. It's inspiring for me, and I hope it is for you. I hope it's useful in some little small way. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock, tell people. Bye bye.